Hello and welcome to the Yarnings Podcast. I'm Christine and I'll be your host. This is episode 26 of the podcast, or like I've been thinking about it, season 2. Today is September 16th, 2014, and I'm coming to you from Vancouver, Washington. It's a pretty nice day. We've had a really lovely summer, very hot some of the time, and it's nice that things are starting to cool down for the fall. So, it's been a while. I started as an audio podcaster way back in October 2010. I podcasted fairly regularly as the audiocast until the beginning of 2012 when life got blissy and I took a little break. I've posted a little bit of yarning related goodness in my blog since then, and been very active in the knitting community still, but I just haven't had the bandwidth to podcast. So I've been thinking a lot about this, and I'd really like to come back and do a video cast for you. I'm hoping for short but sweet updates. Hopefully weekly, just little tidbits of stories of what is going on in my yarny life. So for those of you who are new, just checking me out, you probably are wondering, why is it called Yarnings? So there's a fun story about that. When my niece was little, she kind of grew up around me knitting because I started knitting when she was little. And one day at a family gathering, I was sitting there knitting and she came up to me and says, "Aunt Christine, what are you yarning?" And that word just stuck with me as being a happy way to describe what I do with my fibery projects all throughout my life. And plus, it's a really good word to describe that I'm always telling stories. I don't just give little tidbits here and there. I tend to like to tell a story. And obviously I talk with my hands, which is harder when I'm knitting. So, I have been telling yarny stories for a while, and I am excited to be back sharing them with you. I have a little outline today of a few things I'd like to show you. This will probably be a shorter show than normal, just to kind of introduce you to the Yarnings Podcast coming back, and then hopefully it will be a good kickstart for me to get going on a regular schedule. So I'll finish this row, and then I'll show you what I have on. This is the Hirofu cardigan by Hirofu Fukatsu. I believe that's how a lot of the podcasters have been saying it. It's a beautiful lacy pattern. The sleeves are done first, but the whole sweater is done in one piece. So you start with a flat section that's the sleeves, attach it together, pick up stitches, and then work your way down. And it's got a very nice increase area all the way around. I did it all the way around. Some people do it as per the pattern, and I adjusted it for me. That's kind of how I go. I like things to be well fitting in the top and have a little more ease towards the bottom. So that's what I did with this. You can see my classy little shawl pin just for while I was podcasting was I put a crochet hook in it. There are plenty of shawl pins in this house, but this was within arm's reach. So I worked on this project. I was working on it before Stash Dash started, which was a knit along that I participated in with the Knit Girls, and then I set it aside because I didn't think it was one that I could finish before the end. So I worked on getting some of the other projects that I had going worked on first. And so I haven't had it done. I had it done for about a week. I've worn it twice already, and I absolutely love it. I could totally see knitting another one of these. The yarn is just absolutely lovely. This is Sun Valley Fibers MCN lace weight. And it's a heavy lace weight. I had used it for a sample at the Stockinette Zombies, the Zombie Apocalypse Retreat. And I really liked working with it. So while I was there, I picked up some more at the market, and so that I could make this. Because it's a heavy lace weight, I just had to adjust my needle size to get gauge. The pattern calls for fingering weight, and it came out just fine. I think the regular lace weight would probably be too small, but this worked really well. And I'd highly recommend working with Jeanette from Sun Valley Fibers Yarn. I've enjoyed both of the experiences with it and can't wait to knit with some more. I could see if there was a base that I had to pick to knit with for regular projects, it would certainly be her MCN. So I'm excited to get some more in the near future. So my second finished object that I'm going to show you today is on my handy dandy hanging rod, which is part of my nitty nutty. This is the Beekeepers tank. This is a pattern that I had seen Java Jenny on Instagram had posted hers, and I loved it. And so I had to follow along and knit one too. The yarn is one of my long-time stashed yarns from Sock Summit. It's periwinkle sheep, and that's what the body of it is in. And then I have a twisted, just to do a little extra color, I added the I-cord edge in just a solid pink from Twisted. They had a line that Melanie from Black Trillium dyed for them called 45 degrees, I believe. And they aren't doing it anymore, but I had this beautiful pink, and I love pink. I love wearing this. I've worn it several different ways. It's nice and blousy, and I love the colors. It turned out really good. I'm really pleased with it. And that didn't work. We'll just set that down there. I'm trying to do this in one take. Let's see if that works. So, those are the two finished objects I'd like to show you today. There's other things I've been working on. Obviously, I'm not going to show you everything from 2012 till now. So these are just the two biggest things that I've worked on recently. And as I glance at my list over here, you should see how many Apple products I have right around me. I have my laptop that I'm recording on. My iPad has my notes. My phone, I took a picture. It's all crazy. But this is my new craft desk, and I love it. I set it up so that I could do all of my creating and connecting in one spot instead of having my computer in another room and having it overwhelmed with bill pay and whatever else needed to be done for the household. This way, I've got it here, and I will do the other things downstairs, and it's making me so much happier. I just really enjoy coming and sitting in here. And I'm working on projects. And yeah, it's going to be a really good space. So you can see I have IKEA Expedit shelves and a desk, the IKEA desk that's attached to it. I've got another table out in front of me with all of my projects, and then another small desk over here with a file drawer. And it's all still kind of getting organized. I've only been in here for a couple weeks in this format, and as I clean the other rooms in the house, lots of stuff comes back here because the crafty stuff kind of infuses itself through the house. Isn't that how that works, though? I'm drinking a mix of tea and coffee. I brew the tea leaves in my French press and then add coffee at the end of it, and it's delicious. So let's talk about some of my works in progress. So the thing I was knitting on at the beginning is a pretty exciting project because it is an announcement that I'm going to make. So this is the Feather and Cloud cardigan by Vera Valimaki, and it is in, oh sorry, that was loud. It is in Madeline Tosh Chunky, the colorway Spectrum. And right now I am a couple inches down from the armhole. It's got this unique eyelet detail for decreasing underneath the arm, and then the same thing will be for increasing. And I think that's kind of a neat touch. It is reverse stockinette, and it's my first time working with something intentionally reverse stockinette. And since the last thing I finished was lace weight, and most of my sweaters are fingering weight, it's really speedy to be working on a Aran to bulky weight yarn. I just love the texture of this fabric. The colors are just so vibrant and beautiful. It's coming out a little bit bluer on the screen. It's a little more purple in person. I guess we'll see how it looks once I'm wearing it. It'll probably change depending on what I'm wearing it with, and I'm really excited about it. So the reason this is an announcement is because I am doing this as a Rhinebeck sweater. This is going to be my Rhinebeck sweater. Or hopefully, we'll see how warm it's going to be. But the theory is I will be wearing it at Rhinebeck this year. Rhinebeck is the New York Sheep and Wool Festival in Dutchess County, New York. And through the kindness of knitters, I am going to go and stay with my friend Angel, who is A. McGar on Ravelry and Von Scene on Instagram. We are hoping to meet up with Heather, a Tangled Yarn, on Instagram. And we're going to stay together for a few days and be at the festival for a few days. I'm so excited. This is one of those places that everybody always says you should go to Rhinebeck, and I never thought I would. And this year I will be going. So I am really super excited. There are a lot of people that are going that I'm excited to meet. I think it's going to be a really good time. So if you are going to Rhinebeck, please find me. I would really like to meet my Instagram friends who've watched the podcast. I'm excited to meet other podcasters and friends that I've had online forever. So exciting. So, first work in progress is my Rhinebeck sweater, the Feather and Cloud. I will be putting that in for the Stockinette Zombies Rhinebeck sweater knit along because, of course, that's got to happen. It'll probably also be for the Geeky Girls knits. They are having a artistic autumnal knit along. I think I might have those words backwards. It's GGKAAK is the hashtag. So I know there's 2 A's in there. I think it's artistic autumnal. And that is for anything that people can convince them is related to autumn. And this will certainly count because it's going to be a nice warm sweater, and the fact that I'm going to wear it at Rhinebeck makes it even more autumny. Hopefully I can get some pictures of me with some fall leaves. I've never been in the Northeast US in the fall, so we'll see. If it's going to be a warm day, my Hirofu day probably will be the thing to wear, but we'll see. So, second work in progress is my cool clavicle cover, which I apparently stopped in the middle of a row, but I'll show you anyhow. This is a pattern by Megan Williams of the Stockinette Zombies, one of my favorite videocasts. And it's got some awesome texture going on. It's got rows of slip stitch texture separated by some chain rows. And I am on the last wrong side row before I start the final border. And the yarn is something special that my friend Elena dyed for me. When she dyed it up, she thought it was colors that looked like me. And we were retreat twins at the Zombie Knitpocalypse retreat this time. our faces are both round. We both got asymmetrical curly brown hair, and it was so much fun to realize, hey, we look kind of alike. So it was really, really fun to get to know her, and I'm excited to meet up with her again at another event. So she dyed up this yarn. It was on a Knit Picks base, and it's got beautiful light purples and big splotches of pink and blue, and it's just gorgeous. And I think it suits this pattern really well. This will be for me. I think it could actually be worn with my Hirofu pretty nicely. So that's the shawl for me that's on the needles. The other shawl I have on the needles is for my niece, and I just started this, again, in the middle of the row. I just started this weekend so that I would have something to do at a church event. And this is the Tannhaus Brook Shawl by Jennifer Lassant of Down Cellar Studios podcast. And I'm doing it with a stripy yarn. I didn't see any in her projects that used stripy yarns, but my niece, the same one who named the podcast when she was little, she is learning to be a knitter. Last year, she started taking knitting classes, and I've tagged all those posts as Aunt Christine's Knitting School because I love that. And so when she comes in my craft room, she keeps pointing at this yarn and saying, you should make me something out of that. So I am. So it's got this different textured stuff. I worked on this mostly while watching Scandal last Friday night, and then I brought it to the church event and didn't get quite as much done on it. But this will be a great little shawl for her. I think it will work well tied in the back as a shrug, just to cover her shoulders, and then she can wear it on top of whatever she wants. These are colors she wears all the time. So that's just going along speedy. And I also have a pair of socks. And these went into hibernation for a little bit because one of my needle tips broke. I have used the same pair of ChiaoGoo needles since I got them, which was over a dozen pair of socks, and so I'm not sad that the needles broke at all. I'm surprised that they lasted as long as they did, so I got a replacement of the exact same thing. This is the Chasing Rainbows pattern by Cece Allman she's Java Pearl of the Geeky Girls Knit podcast. And I am using, the yarn is Spartacus dyes. Mary Gale's got a Frozen series, and this is Happy Snowman. So I'm calling it Catch the Happy Snowman. I got the pattern name wrong. The pattern name is, I'm going to put it on the screen. The pattern name is Catch the Rainbow, and the colorway of the yarn is Happy Snowman. So I was calling them Catch the Happy Snowman. But the colors are so nice. You can see the orange from Olaf's nose, and the pinks and purples for the girls, and definitely a me colorway. I got this at the Zombie Apocalypse retreat, and I really have enjoyed working with it. So I just finished Fish Lips Heels, which I did differently than the pattern said, rather than a gusset, and I will be zooming along with them now that I've got the needle back. And that was all of my works in progress. That's a pretty nice pile, huh? There are a few other little things, some secret stuff that I can't show you, but this was the bulk of it. I have a really nice clothes rack in the closet behind me. It's back over there. It's a regular closet with a rod, and I put hooks up, and so each of my projects and my needle adjacent projects are hanging up in there in their bags. Let's see, I have bags from Jessalou, Yarn Pop, and one for my friend Michelle with 1L that are in use right now on my desk. So let's see, needle adjacent projects. I have this basket because I needed something to put this yarn in, and this is actually a basket from my wedding. So it's got the little bows on it. So yes, that's goofy, but whatever. So this yarn is some Knit Picks Comfy Sport that is actually a very nice buttery yellow. It's showing up a little more green than it is in person. It's called Creme Brulee is the colorway. And I knit a top out of it. I didn't like how the top fit at the time, and so I ripped and adjusted it to work as a wrap. And then when I've lost some weight, now it just never was super. And so I have ripped it out. It is going to become something new and awesome. There's quite a bit of it here. I have a little post-it note. I've got about 900 yards, and then there's some smaller balls. If I really needed it, that's about 100 yards. Worsted weight. Comfy worsted, not comfy sport, sorry. And it's going to become the castle pullover. I cannot picture who the designer is on that right now. I know, but I don't remember. Anyhow, I'll put it on the screen. The castle pullover, it's one that's been in my queue for a while, and I think this is going to be nice and work well with layers. I'll make it fairly loose so I can wear it during the fall and then next spring and stuff. So that is a needle adjacent project, or a nap. So what else do I got? I have a pair of socks waiting to go on the needles after the rainbow ones go off. I have another sweater that I hope to be working on while I'm at Rhinebeck, and those things will all be shown on the show as I get closer. In future episodes, I hope to talk a little bit more about some of the things that make me me. My Twitter tagline says I'm giggly, geeky girl. And that's very true. And so I will be sharing some girly stuff and some geeky stuff and some of the things that I love about the knitting community, so that you can hopefully get more involved too if you want to. There'll be some stuff of what's going on in my kitchen and travel tales. Just glancing at my notes to see what else I wrote down as ideas. I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm glad to have you along for the ride. So, to end out today, I will give you some contact info. I am Christine with a K on Ravelry. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as KDLB, just the letters. And you are welcome to visit the show notes blog at yarningspodcast.com. And we have a group on Ravelry, so hopefully I will get some posts up there and we can start chatting a little bit. I'm really looking forward to it. It's really been a fun thing for me to be part of the knitting community, and I watch a lot of podcasts and I talk with a lot of people on Instagram, and it really enriches me a lot, and I would love the same for each of you. So until next time, that's the story.